Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcoming to Bridging Universes, our first
Ever
podcast.
podcast. Woo!
Yeah.
Mate, it's done. We've hit record. We've hit record. Weeks and weeks of talking about it. Years of dreaming have come to this point. How cool.
We've been talking about this for months now.
I know. I think it's something we both wanted to do, isn't it? We want to tell you all about what we've got planned for the podcast, but mate, I'm actually so happy that we've done this.
I'm so proud of us. Thank you for creating this with me.
Just
So, Bridging Universes. It's quite a funny one, isn't it? It was actually started because I was in Rishikesh at Kundalini Yoga Ashram doing my Kundalini Yoga teacher training. And one morning, mind you, I was waking up at 4:30. I started doing sadhana at 5. And one morning, but in between two different teachings, so it was like 7:30 in the morning, I was just done and I was coming out of a meditation and I was like, oh, this is it! And it was like, I'm gonna start a podcast with Jack. We're gonna call it Bridging Universes and we're gonna give people new perspectives. I was running downstairs and mind you, it was Rishikesh in January. It was freaking cold and I was getting all hot and excited. I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a podcast with Jack. So I texted Jack. I was like, you, me, we're gonna do it. We've been talking about it. It's time. And the topics we came up with, they were just there, was the difference between masculine and feminine, the difference between the hippie lifestyle that we
the woo-woo as they call it.
or like the 9 to 5 hustle mentality.
Yeah, the grind. You text me, you were like, I want to do let's do a podcast. I literally was just like, yes. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And that's like, there was no persuading, there was nothing. It was just like straight into it. And then literally from there, we just got so excited. I know. I think it's something we've both wanted to do for a while, to be fair. You know, the idea itself, the concept, we were both like really aligned with it because obviously it's something that we've both been through and we're still going through. So it's like, it's super aligned for us to be able to talk about this and to be able to share our experiences with everybody, as well as offer them so much more knowledge and wisdom from people we have. I'm super excited to get going. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane.
I was also like, I want two perspectives, and the first person that came to my mind was Jack. So,
Who's that?
who's that? So, who is Jack? Well, in my perception, Jack is a super cool, amazing, super sweet guy who I can talk for hours, so that's really useful for a podcast. But also, he's just an amazing soul. He is probably the coolest guy you're ever gonna see if you're gonna see his flow art, because he does like a bunch of playing with fire. But on top of that, he's also a life coach and he helps specifically men to just be their authentic self. And I think that is amazing because there's such a big world to win for people to come together, and especially for men to come together. He has a men's circle, which I absolutely adore. I think that is amazing. The world needs more of them. And I just know Jack as a really authentic, loving guy who is also super, super funny and who is doing his best every day to make this world a little bit better and to make people feel a little bit better. And along the way, he's traveling around, he's learning about himself, and he's trying to show other people whatever he's learning. And I think that is great. So to me, that is Jack.
Yeah. Do you know what is? Do you know I love that? Do you know what is so hard as well? This is something we'll probably go into later on. Is like you sit here and you listen to someone describe you, and you're like, years ago I would have been like, what? Like, no. But now I'm sat here talking these things, and I'm like, whoa, that's actually me. Like, you're right, you know. And like my experience, it's sometimes hard for me still to describe me in that way. I'm kind of like, wait a minute, no, you're not. You don't do this. You don't do that. That's amazing, thank you.
Tell us about you a few years ago.
Man, my journey's been crazy. For some people that know me will know that my journey has been like colourful throughout my adolescent life. I'm now 31. I live in Portsmouth in the UK. Well, that's my base. I've been travelling around for the last year. I've just come home, and I'm looking to go back out in a month's time. But yeah, my journey's been crazy. It's gone through so many different paradigms and shifts throughout the years, and it's led me to the work that I'm doing now with men in situations that they don't feel like they can talk to people, and they're struggling with their own inner demons, and they just need a way out. They need an outlet to realise that life isn't all doom and gloom, and that it can actually offer you so much.
It gives
Now,
me goosebumps. I'm so happy you said that. And I'm pretty sure that during all of these episodes, people are gonna get to know us very well, because we're gonna share
sure.
a lot about our experiences, but we're also gonna share our teachers and our mentors and what they teach us. So they're not only gonna learn from us, they're also gonna learn from the people who teach us and from the books we read, and so much more.
Right, Miss Nadine, this beautiful lady sat right here. I met Nadine around 7 months ago, in a beautiful place in Thailand. The moment I met Nadine, I felt this huge connection with her. I was super happy and relaxed around her, and just from speaking to her, we just vibed straight away. And she's this amazing energy worker. She has been traveling around studying, having left a previous lifestyle of being a human rights lawyer to now traveling the world, healing people with her hands and her mystical ways. And she really is a beautiful person. I'm so happy to have her as my partner on this podcast. But you will get to know her on a much deeper level. She's a very deep, interesting person. She's always very caring. Whenever I need to go somewhere to feel grounded, to feel safe, I go to this lady. So you're in good hands with her, and I'm again super excited to host this podcast and go on this journey together, mate. It's gonna be so fun. She also spins as well, and she spins dragon staff, which is even cooler. And I'm sure at some point I'll be on here. I might even be on here one day spinning a dragon staff. Like, who knows?
And spinning at the same time.
That'd be so much fun. How cool would that be?
Amazing.
Dragon spinning lessons.
You almost made me cry.
It's all true though. And this is the thing, is sometimes it's hard to give yourself that, we sometimes don't, when somebody else describes you, they give you this perspective of yourself that's sometimes we don't believe. It's amazing when you can actually fully accept that.
At the same time, I've had so many conversations in the last weeks where I was like,
111 111. Okay, it's another thing you'll get to know. There's going to be references throughout this podcast of angel numbers, different references. I'm sure Nadine will come up with some very interesting quotes or something that she's found along the way. Sorry, Matt, I cut you off. Go on.
No, you're okay. Thank you for saying that. I've had literally 3 or 4 different conversations in the last week about how funny it is that we as humans, and you're going to hear me refer to us as humans so often, but we as people, we really think in little boxes, and I did it as well. At first I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a human rights lawyer. I'm not gonna do energy healing. I'm not gonna do oracle readings. I'm not gonna do Kundalini yoga. It's all so weird. That's the witchy, and we think in all these blocks of okay, I'm a girlfriend. I'm a daughter. I am a human rights lawyer. I am a friend.
The roles.
You have all of these little boxes, and then people describe you as that, and then at some point you're gonna realize wait, but I am everything and nothing. You cannot define me by all of these boxes, and that's such a funny point to get to.
I love that. I love being. I think it's so right as well. It's taken time to fully accept sometimes. It's accepting yourself for who you really are, and being I can be, a life coach and sit on a call for 2 hours giving someone some really in-depth conversation and in-depth lessons and stuff, and then I can go and run around my garden dancing to and go fire spinning and going and it's the thing, sometimes we feel when we have these sort of roles that we can't sort of do these things, but it's fully being yourself in that entirety and accepting that is somewhere you get to. by doing the work that we've done. And I think it's important to really highlight that we've both gone on this healing journey over this last few years, which has got us to this place to be able to feel comfortable about talking about this stuff and feel comfortable about being who we really are and accepting that, which I love. Like, kudos to us. And to anybody else out there doing that sort of work, because it's not easy.
And I'm also so excited to just talk about anything that is a little bit controversial, because I'm pretty sure, Jack already said it, I am a human rights lawyer. I'm also specialized in women's rights, so I have quite a bit of feminist influences. So I'm pretty sure that we're at some point gonna have like really strange stances in front of each other. And besides that, like, we live in our little bubble and we say things that we don't think are weird anymore, but sometimes I'm like, oh, if someone else would hear our conversations, they would absolutely think that we've lost our mind.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm really excited to just have these conversations for everyone to realize, like, oh, but we can talk about a lot of things, and it's so important to talk about, for example, to talk about emotions and how do we handle them, to talk about dreams and like, what are your dreams? And maybe is your dream to like buy a little house somewhere in the woods in England and do nothing at all? And is that okay, instead of like becoming the best lawyer on earth?
Mate, my dreams right now are going crazy. Like, I don't know if anybody else can relate, but like my dreams have just gone through the roof. Like, I'm waking up mid-dream, remembering my dreams, being able to control my dreams now. Like, and that's an amazing thing. Again, there's so many topics we can get into that we've discovered over these years, and there's so much we're going to get into. Like, you know, you were just talking about the feminine, like, and women's rights and stuff, and obviously we've got plans to obviously talk about the masculine and feminine archetypes and how that relates to each other, how that relates to the East and the Western world, because they're they're seen as in two complete different lights in different parts of the world, I believe. So we've got that to talk about, obviously the 9 to 5 shift between 9 to 5 matrix and, you know, the Western flowy sort of world, which I know a lot of people are going to relate to because it is where a lot of people come from. And I feel like we're in the middle, you know, we're in the middle where we can sort of like blend the two, which I feel like is the point where we need to get to, is to be able to blend the two worlds together. I know you have knowledge on like ancient spirituality as well, which obviously we're going to pull through into the modern life. So there's so much we can go into that relates, you know, that's been around for thousands of years that we're still using today. Some of those practices like Kundalini, you know, so like I can't wait to actually pull this knowledge out of you as well. As well as having guests as well, you know, we're going to have lots of interesting guests from people that we meet. It's important to remember that me and Nadine will both be traveling at the same time, so we're going to be meeting such interesting people, and we're going to be pulling them onto this podcast to be able to chat and to be able to share their knowledge for everybody that follows us to have. So it's going to be such a, mate, this journey is going to be crazy.
I just really feel like we, as people who are traveling, like when I left Europe, I realized, oh, there's so many cool people. And I'm not just talking about travelers. Sometimes it's also like the owner of a cute bakery in random little in Sri Lanka, and like they have such cool stories and they can teach you so much. And part of this podcast is also going to be just that, like hearing new perspectives on life. Is just so fun if people have like such a different opinion or such a different life experience, to reflect that back onto yourself and be like, whoa, I can learn this from this.
I know. And that's the amazing thing with travel, I think, and getting out there, is you meet so many interesting people. And that's one of the things, you know, is like with the 9 to 5 world, is people just feel like they're so trapped in that lifestyle that they can't actually go and experience these things. And there's more to life than just living this like 9 to 5 routine, like getting outside of your comfort zone and going and exploring and finding out all these new things about not only yourself but about, you know, the world and other people. When I left to the UK back last year, it opened my whole world, like mentally, spiritually, physically, like emotionally, everything just completely changed for me. So I can't wait to get more into that and explain to people some of the changes that I experienced and some of the crazy experiences, like being arrested and put in a prison in Malaysia. Some of you guys don't know the story. I'm willing to share it and speak about it at a later point. But yeah, it was a crazy experiences. I mean, that wasn't one of the best ones, obviously. There was so many more.
I want to bring in one nuance. I do want to say that this podcast is like meant to give new perspectives. It is absolutely not to tell anyone to leave their current life, because
No.
I want to make really clear that like both me and Jack made the choice to like leave Europe, but I'm not saying that I will never return to Europe, and I'm not saying that I will never return to a 9 to 5 job, even though I will do that on my own terms. Like, there is a lot of beauty in that life as well. We're absolutely not here to judge anyone living that lifestyle or to tell anyone, oh, you should change it. This is just here if you do not have the means or you do not have the desire to go on those crazy adventures, to still get a little bit of knowledge and to still get a little bit of new perspectives. Because in every life there is chance to like reevaluate and to remember and to get to know yourself better. And I hope, and I'm pretty sure Jack hopes this as well, that this podcast and hearing us talk will allow you to remember some things inside of yourself, to remember some of your wisdom, but also to just realize, oh, this is how I feel about this. Oh, wait, but I can actually talk about this. And just for you to kind of like go inwards and be like, oh, I just listened to the podcast. What did it teach me? What can I learn from this? Without having to go through, indeed, those big crazy stories like Jack getting arrested. And I do not have a story like this, but I do have quite a few stories on my sleeve as well. Because both Jack and me can be pretty extreme personalities. So
I can't wait for people to get to know us as well. Like we're in a way, we're so similar and we have such obviously contrast between us. But I feel like we're both two really bubbly, chatty, talky people. A little bit crazy, a little bit woo-woo, a little bit hoo-ha.
everyone is.
Everybody is, of course, but we're happy to show that, and we're happy to have these conversations. And I'm so excited to get into conversations that people don't usually want to talk about. People don't usually sometimes feel they're comfortable enough to talk about. So if we can be that scenario, we can be that opportunity for people to sit and listen and be like, wow, like I've never thought of it like that, or I've never had a conversation like that before. We want you to be in part of our conversations, like when you're listening to this, you're sat here with us. We're not just going to be sat here talking. We want you to be sat here listening with us, being part of the conversation in energy. We want you there, and this is the reason we're going to do this. But yeah, mate, I'm so excited. I cannot tell you, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. We both went from, okay, we're gonna do a podcast. First episode 2.
Wait, so what is episode 2? Do you want to tell people what episode 2 is?
In the next 3 episodes, actually, we're gonna introduce our 3 main subjects. So episode 2 is gonna be about the masculine and the feminine. Episode 3 is gonna be about the difference between living on your own terms and living a 9 to 5. And episode 4 is going to be a little bit of the difference between modern day lifestyles and spirituality, and what is spirituality and our perspective on that. After those, please let us know if there's a specific topic you want us to get into, because these 3 topics are going to be like woven into everything, because that is the 3 biggest contrasting topics we want to talk about. But we're also really, really excited to hear what you want us to talk about.
100%.
So,
I think what we'll do is we'll put some posts out, and we want you guys to comment on the post, to comment about what you liked, what you want us to talk about. I can't wait to see the journey we're going to go on.
Today is 16th of March 2025. Let's revise this conversation on 16th of March 2026. Let's see what we've done. And let's see what the rest of our listeners has done.
Hey guys, we're going to wrap this one up for today. I have been Jack.
And I'm Nadine. And this is Bridging Universes.
Bridging Universe. You can follow us on all of our social medias. We'll put all of our handles below. You can see our Instagram, our YouTube. Okay, guys, we'll catch you soon.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.